This video is about Elvira. It initially presents her on the first two issues of the newest 2025 comic book series featuring her, titled Harley Quinn Elvira, followed by photo covers of her from 2018 to 2024. The covers are presented in chronological order, and the comic books were all published by Dynamite Entertainment. As the covers go by, lots of fascinating information is provided, including information about Cassandra Peterson, who created Elvira and has played her on TV and in movies. But the information is not intended to correspond to the specific cover being shown. The 2025 series Harley Quinn Elvira, published by Dynamite Entertainment, is scheduled for release in August 2025. The setting for the first issue is as follows. The Mistress of the Dark meets Daddy's little monster. What happens when the Crown Princess of Crime gets bored? Shenanigans, hijinks, grievous bodily harm. The possibilities are endless. Now, add in a certain macabre-minded TV host who seems to attract trouble like crypts attract vampires, and the stage is set for the greatest team-up since Frankenstein meets his bride. With her beloved show on the chopping block following a corporate takeover, Elvira needs to come up with a plan to get things back in the black. And her new friend, Harley Quinn, has an idea that is just crazy enough to work. Together, they are going to throw the greatest Halloween party that Brooklyn has ever seen, whether the borough likes it or not. For the second issue, when Elvira first met Harley Quinn, the Mistress of the Dark was desperate for any plan that could help her save her beloved TV show after it was threatened with cancellation by heartless corporate raiders. Well, the Clown Princess of Crime came up with a plan, all right, and now Elvira is along for the ride, no matter how crazy Harley's scheme turns out to be. Putting together the biggest Halloween block party ever staged is a great idea in theory, but pulling it off means raising a massive amount of money, and a pile of cash that big is sure to draw the attention of every thug and delinquent in the tri-state area. If Harley and Elvira want to keep their party funds secure, they're going to have to become too big to fail, and that means going international. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, is a horror hostess character portrayed by Cassandra Peterson, an American actress who was born in Kansas in 1951. When she was a toddler, she was scalded by boiling water, which required skin grafts to cover over 35% of her body to heal, resulting in her having to spend 3 months in a hospital. In a 2011 interview, Peterson stated that as a child, she was more fascinated by horror-themed toys, while other girls were occupied with Barbie dolls. In elementary school, she watched House on Haunted Hill, which was the first horror movie she ever saw. During her teens, Peterson worked as a go-go dancer. Inspired by Anne Margaret in the movie Viva Las Vegas, while on a trip to Las Vegas, Nevada, during high school, she convinced her parents to let her see a live show where she was noticed by the production staff. Despite being only 17, she convinced her parents to let her sign a contract. Immediately after graduating from high school in Colorado Springs, she drove to Las Vegas and became a showgirl, and met Elvis Presley and went on a date with him. She had a small role as a showgirl in the 1971 James Bond movie Diamonds Are Forever, and as a topless dancer in the 1974 movie The Working Girls. In the early 1970s, She moved to Italy and became a lead singer of 2 rock bands and obtained movie acting work. When she returned to the United States, she worked at the Playboy Club in Miami as a showgirl and later signed up with Hugh Hefner's Playboy modeling agency, working as a hostess and model. She also toured nightclubs and discos around the country with a musical comedy act, and she appeared in several adult magazines. In 1979, she joined the Los Angeles-based improvisational and sketch comedy troupe The Groundlings and based her Elvira persona in part on a Valley Girl-type character that she created while a member of the troupe. She was one of 2 finalists for the role of Ginger Grant for the 3rd Gilligan's Island television movie in 1981, but she was dropped before filming. In 1981, 6 years after the death of Larry Vincent, who starred as host Sinister Seymour of a Los Angeles weekend horror show called Fright Night, show producers began to bring the show back. The producers decided to use a hostess. They asked 1950s horror hostess Mela Nurmi to revive the vampire show. Nurmi worked on the project for a short time, but quit when the producers would not hire Lola Falana to play Vampire. The station sent out a casting call, and Peterson auditioned and won the role for Los Angeles television station KHJ-TV. She and her best friend Robert Redding came up with the sexy goth vampire look after producers rejected her original idea to look like Sharon Tate's character in The Fearless Vampire Killers. They created the Elvira look by drawing inspiration from a kabuki makeup book and the hairstyle of the Ronettes. Peterson gained fame on KHJ-TV wearing a revealing black, gothic, cleavage-enhancing gown and with a heaven bump hairstyle as host of Elvira's movie Macabre that features B-movies, particularly those in horror and science fiction genres. The show originally aired locally from 1981 to 1986. Adopting the flippant tone of a California Valley girl, she brought a satirical, sarcastic edge to her commentary. She reveled in dropping risque double entendres and making frequent jokes about her cleavage. In an AOL Entertainment News interview, Peterson said, "I figured out that Elvira is me when I was a teenager. She's a spastic girl. I just say what I feel, and people seem to enjoy it." Her camp humor, sex appeal, and good-natured self-mockery made her popular with late-night movie viewers, and her popularity soared. The Elvira character soon evolved from an obscure cult figure to a lucrative brand. She was associated with many products through the 1980s and 1990s, including Halloween costumes, comic books, action figures, trading cards, pinball machines, Halloween decor, model kits, calendars, perfume, and dolls. She co-wrote and starred in the 1988 movie Elvira's Mistress of the Dark, a comedy horror movie which follows Elvira inheriting a house nestled in an overly prudish community. She later co-wrote and starred in the 2001 movie Elvira's Haunted Hills. In the future, do you want to see more of the character Elvira in comic books, on TV, and in movies? More videos like this one, short and longer, can be viewed at the Comic Excitement Convention, Elvira playlist, and horror playlist. Please like, comment, subscribe, and click the notifications bell.